and you have to go sideways. All right. Just doing this little episode 2 Monday night painting series here, live painting. Just getting everything set up here. Got my new Bob Ross shirt on. Just got today. Got 3 of these suckers now. Got everything set up here. I'll start getting my palette going.
Unfortunately, this was logged into me.
Oh, that's all right. Been painting all day, and my little girl decided to take some brushes and mix all my paints together all over my palette. So I had a big old palette full of mud, and that would be okay if I was wanting to paint a big old 18 by 24 mud painting. But that's not the case. But I didn't get a chance to get my palette completely set up here, so I'm get my palette set up with colors I'm gonna want to use here. I think tonight I'm gonna try to do pretty big, a nice little mountain scene with some water and some trees, and maybe do like a little sunset background. My wife loves the sunsets. A lot of people give me compliments on the sunsets, so I think I might try to do that. So I gotta get me some lots of different yellows. So I got a few different CAD yellows that I use. I actually got 3 different flavors or hues of cadmium yellow. Yeah, I had to wipe away my whole palette just moments before I went live here. Just so much. My little girl had so much paint everywhere. So I'm just loading everything back up on here that I might need for this painting. Just gotta find my yellow ochre. Ooh, I like that color too. Gotta find my yellow ochre, my titanium white, and I gotta get my black out here. I got that on here. She mixed that all over everything. Toddlers can be fun, and that, on the other hand, can be very destructive. There's my yellow ochre. When I make a sunset, I usually use a big mixture of my yellows. So I think I'm gonna do that. One more color down here, and then I'll start working on my background. The sky. I got these colors right in front of me, and sometimes right in plain sight these colors hide on me. There it is, right there. Black. And well, if I'm gonna make trees, I better have some sap green up here.
Hey, you're on
Facebook. Hello everybody on Facebook. I've been on YouTube here for a few months. I was my dumb self. I didn't have the extra camera charging up, so I went to try to turn it on a few minutes ago, and it was on 1%. Doesn't help when you're trying to go do a live video when you're on 1%. Just getting the palette and everything ready. Kylie came through just minutes really before we were to go live, and decided to take a couple paint brushes and started swirling around all of my colors on my palette all together, mixing some mud. So I had a whole palette full of mud. So I'm just quickly here trying to get my palette back on. I've already got my canvas all ready. This is my first painting of 18 by 24 inch canvas. I just bought this at Actually, I bought this one at, yeah, Michael's. Bought this at Michael's the other day. They had a good clearance sale going on for these things, so I went ahead and took advantage of that. So I got my greens, got my yellows, got my one red that I like to use. I got like 6 different reds, but crimson is always the one I like to use the most. Oh, so I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna start out. With a little bit of my Indian yellow here. I love starting out with making that my sun. Just love that color. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna have. Today I think I'm gonna have a mountain. I'm gonna do one of those scenes where I start a mountain off down here and kind of go off in here and come down. So I want my sunset to be over here. So I'm gonna start out with like little X strokes here. And since this is gonna be my sun itself, I'm not gonna go too far out of like what a distant sun might look like. So I'm just gonna do that right there. Then I'm gonna come in with my another one of my cad yellow. It looks almost like orange on the palette, but it's not. It gets close to there, but it's a really bright yellow. I'm just gonna kind of make that like almost like the sun. Like the sunbeams right there. I just kind of blend it in with that sun, go around it, and as I go out further, get a little bit lighter towards the edge of that. That kind of makes it so that Indian yellow that I had in there kind of makes like a little sun.
Okay, hold on.
Well, it didn't take long to be introduced to Kylie. Say hi, Kylie. Hi. She said hi.
Gail said she can't hear.
Oh, well, man, there's not one of these that goes by that can't figure out the darn audio problems.
Whoa.
Is it too far away, Angie, you think?
Let's try it now. Now talk.
All right, now I'm going to go in with my regular cadmium yellow and do another little spot out here. Sometimes when I do this, sometimes I might not even use the red, the alizarin crimson. I love to use it, but sometimes I don't. Depends on how big I make my yellows. Got me a little bristle there, just popping off there.
Your mom's on here.
Hey Mom, how you doing? Thanks for showing up.
And Fred
Mayotte?
Yep.
Fred, holy cow, man. I haven't seen Fred since graduation day, actually. We talked on Facebook a few times. Hope you're having a good night, Fred. I'm gonna come in with a little bit of my, then I'm gonna come in with my last little dark color, my yellow ochre. I got all my yellows there together, all of them next to each other, because when I go and highlight trees and bushes and everything, I get to mixing them all together with my thinner and stuff. So then I come here, this is visibly darker. Just come around the edge of that. Bring a little bit over here, not too much. Kind of blend that out. I don't. Some of my skies, some skies don't have any blue in them, so this was one of those skies I'm gonna have that just doesn't have any blue in it. Save all my blue from the water.
Yeah, save all your blue from water.
Well, there's Kylie saying hello in her way. I'll sometimes run that darker color across this the sun. It distorts it a little bit, but it makes a little streaky, darker clouds through there. And this one is, to me, today is going to be like a really clear sunset, so I'm not going to put any clouds in it. I just like the mixture of this. I like the Southwest desert feel of these kind of sunsets.
Can you
So-
guys hear now?
Hope everybody can hear.
They can hear Kylie.
Yeah, but they can't hear me.
Your
Huh?
voice is very soft today.
Soft. I am like projecting my voice about almost as loud as I can. I'm almost yelling. So, son of a gun. It's because we got these the video and stuff is so far back. I got off that video. Is it good?
Yeah.
Is the video good? So I'm gonna come down here with my
Kelly's
my
here.
blues. Kelly.
Mhm.
Hey Kelly, how you doing? With my blues, I use for my water. A lot of times I just do a mixture of phthalo blue and phthalo green. Phthalo green's almost like an aqua color or glass color. And I just come in here, start laying on where I might want water later on. Coming back and forth. Yeah, a lot of times you should start on the outside and go in. It makes it a little bit easier to blend things in and out, but such a big canvas here. When I blend stuff and try to make my water, I try to make little darker areas and lighter areas, just like you'd see if you're looking at the water. Just come in from the side and come over. I try to take it up to the horizon and leave a little clear spot in there too.
I think Ken is here. Ken, too. Yeah.
Hey Ken, how you doing? Hope you're having a good night. So I got this little lighter spot right in the middle. Kind of go over a little bit like that. I didn't really give myself a lighter spot all the way down here, but I'll show you a trick to make yourself a lighter spot. So I've got I gotta take a clean brush to blend all this in. But before I do that, I got my brush. I've got my brush here that I have liquid white on that I got my canvas ready for earlier. So I'm just gonna take that brush, get a little bit more liquid white on there, and I'm just gonna come in here and follow my little pattern here, and then just scrub myself out a little bit of a lighter spot through here. Just gotta push into the canvas a little bit, and then it kind of fades, all that blue kind of fades away a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and blend it up here through here before I get my clean brush. There we go. Get a little bit more of the white. I want it to be pretty white in there. Okay, what's going on in there? The doggy is not liking something. All right. Now I'm gonna get myself a clean brush and just blend this together.
I'm trying to fix the sideways thing, guys.
Just blend this all together like this. Give myself a little bit of a light spot there in the middle of this lake or whatever I'm gonna have down here.
Yes, Joe is standing on the wall.
Huh?
New
Is that-
trick,
what's
new painting trick.
what's going on?
It's showing up sideways because they're looking at it on their. Is
Oh,
everybody looking on their phones?
I'm sorry, everybody. Now, also what I want to do, got this nice, pretty yellow sunshine coming down here. I want to take my brush that I had my yellows on, and I'm gonna kind of run it through all the yellows. Just a little tap it down. Don't get a crazy amount of it on there, but just get enough on there so when you come down through here, the sun's shining down through here. I like to take it over my little white spot that I do. And just come around here, back and forth, a little zigzaggy way there, all the way out to the front of your painting there. Because the sun, your sky is going to reflect into your water. I try to reflect it. I try to look ahead of where I'm gonna paint on the sides of this thing as I'm coming down, and try to make sure I put some sky reflection there. Then I'm gonna come back in and blend it all together again. Do a lot of blending. Take out all the brush strokes and just kind of make it look like it just gives it like a sheen. It looks like it just the sky is just bouncing off the water there. And that's my time. Thank you. We got a pizza in the oven, I think. All right, so now I'm okay with that sky. I'm gonna come in here with my knife. Ooh, there it is. There she is. Just gonna get a knife and I'm gonna mix together a mountain color. Get me some black pulled out there. I love using the alizarin crimson in my mountains because my highlight and shade colors I put on there, sometimes it creates a cool little effect with when it mixes with my highlights and shadows. You guys let Angie know, or let me know if you guys can't hear me. We'll try to work on it. I still haven't got. Oh, for real?
I'm gonna interrupt it. You keep going on.
That one's great. Yeah, YouTube's great. Just tell everybody that you're gonna have to restart.
No, I'm gonna interrupt and restart it so everybody log back on. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not standing on the wall. I'm gonna get a little bit of my browns too. I'm gonna get like half and half my browns there. I still want it to be a really dark color because I'm just putting this in as base for my mountain. I'm gonna wait for my my Facebook
Christy, hi Christy, we're getting
friends
ready to interrupt it and start it over because it's upside down.
All right. Well, actually, I'm just gonna get going here. All right, let's go up here and make my mountain here. Where do I want my mountain? I want this to be seen pretty well, so I'm gonna make my mountain over here. And I want this to be a pretty good sunset, so I'm gonna make it way high. And as you can probably hear, I'm pushing this black paint really hard into the canvas. Just paying attention to the very top edge of this mountain. I don't care about all this stuff down here. I'm gonna scrape a lot of that off anyways. Makes it easier when I'm adding on my highlights and my shadow if I do that. Sometimes I just come in here and just kind of make a really straight edge. That helps too.
Christy's, Yenna's watching while she works.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for coming.
We got your turn right side up.
Nice. Now I'm not Lionel Richieing it. I'm not dancing on the ceiling. I come over here. I want to peek over here. Your mountains, you can make a mountain however you want. You make a many peaks. Just like that. It's got to pay attention to the edge. Make sure I don't overdo the pulling the paint away from the edge. You see I'm scraping a lot of this away because I don't need that much of this paint left on there because I'll be fighting it when I'm putting on the highlight colors. Scrape it away. And I might even make a little peak down here. There we go. Make that a long drop off. Make that a little peak down by the foothills. I'm just gonna run this right underneath that sunset. All the way across here. Now, let's just do that. Got little, like I don't have anything that I'm going off behind me. I'm just doing this from my head. I kind of pick a theme whenever I paint, and especially when I do my live paintings. I just pick a theme and I try to go with it. Just whatever comes in my head. That's whatever comes into my head is what I do. So I've got an idea for something over here, so I'm not gonna run that all the way across there. But I do want to make this a little bit sharper edge, just in case I don't cover this up. Like I said, I don't want to be fighting it. I don't want to be fighting it whenever I go back to painting. Putting on my highlights. Yeah, that's a lot of extra paint. I'm running out of my first little batch here of liquid white, so I added some of my linseed oil into there to thin it down, and then I ended up adding a whole bunch of liquid white on the back of my my background You don't really need all that much. You don't need that much liquid white on the back of your canvas when you're doing these kind of paintings like this. You just need enough on there to kind of blend out your paintings, blend out your the paints that you put on top of it, and then enough to where it'll help you move your paints. Because in this technique, that's the wet on wet technique, made famous by Bob Ross, Bill Alexander, and all that. You have to have a wet thin paint on the back, or a wet thicker paint on the back, and then you kind of thin down your paints as you go along and paint layer on top of layer. All right, I think I'm pretty good with that right now. I'm going to go ahead and take, let's just take one of these dark, one of these dirtier brushes here. And I'm gonna pull this paint down around here. Kind of get rid of some of that excess paint and forming my mountain now. Bring it down here to the horizon or the water or whatever. Just kind of pull it out. Lots of paint on here. I just want to make sure I don't disrupt my my nice little edge I got going there. That's the most important part, is the edge of your mountain. And if people can't hear me, just
Can you guys hear him?
tell Angie and I'll try to speak up. I do get soft sometimes, I guess I do. And I apologize. Is there anybody on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's money.
Your mom said Wendell, Brandy, Ashley, and 4 kids came to see her Saturday.
Oh, that's nice. How'd that go? No fights, right? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my knife, my smaller knife. Then I want to mix up I'll make these mountains. Shoot, this is looking more like a southwest sky. So I'm gonna mix up like a brownish. That sound right? You feeling a brownish reddish mountain? So I got Van Dyke Brown. I use this raw umber. I like raw umber. You can use dark sienna, burnt sienna. There's a lot of different browns. Almost look close to red, like a brick red. So I got I mix up all of it together like that. Lay about that much over there. Then I grab myself a little bit of the white color, put it next to it, and then I mix it up like that to make 2 different colors, 2 different hues. So a very light hue of that original color that I mixed, and that light hue is going to be my highlight. I try to mix up enough to start out so I don't have to remix it, because sometimes when you remix it, you don't remix it to the right, exactly the way you did the first time, and it can cause problems, but I work with it when I do that. Just enough to make it lighter. Just gotta mix it up. All right, let's go up here and take our first peek here. Pick the edge of it and kind of come down like that, across there like that. Oh, some of that black is gonna show through on this painting in the background, and that's all right. That'll kind of create like a rocky effect, like little rocks and ridges all up and down this thing. Just kind of come down like that. Really soft touch. Really soft touch. I didn't get enough up there, so I'll get some more up there. Kind of just come really soft. I'm barely touching the canvas here. Coming down there like that. I got my black set up next to my brown here. I keep on coming in there and dipping into the black. Sometimes I'll even get a little bit of this and dip into my shadow color, and then I'll come in here and kind of mix that in there, because sometimes the shadow color mixed in with the light highlight color will I'll create like a little bit of a ridge or something right there. Oh, and before I get too carried away with that, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little bit of that highlight color, or the shadow color. It's got a little bit of the highlight on there. When I do the browns, it's okay to go back. It's okay to have
Mommy?
a little bit of the highlight color mixed in there, because when you're doing browns and stuff like that, and black, you're making like a rocky terrain. So your rocks are going to be so many different colors. The sun's bouncing off the rocks at different angles, and you're going to have different colors. Just as long as the shadow is darker than the highlight, it'll make that stand out just like that. I hope you guys can see it. If not, we'll kind of bring the camera up here. I see a spot up here that I can kind of grab with some of my shadow color and kind of come around the bottom of that thing and kind of just close it off like that. Little things you see as you're going around there. Kind of makes a little bit of maybe a dirt slippage or something right there.
So Joy's on.
Hey, Joy. Who? Who else?
William Francis.
William Francis. Holy cow.
I don't know if he's still there.
Thank you for showing up,
Christina.
Mr. Francis. Christina, thank you for showing up.
And Angela Jessup was here for a second.
For YouTube, I kind of, a lot of times I try to simulcast my YouTube lives with my Facebook Live friends and family, and just kind of come around down there like that and push that peak up a little bit. Come back here with more of my
Mommy?
more of my
Grab a snack.
shadow color. I can actually, man, I love making the mountains with the browns, because you can do so much with the browns that you can't do with, like, say if I'm doing a mountain scene, I can't do that much with the whites, because if I start mixing some of the dark colors with the whites, it just makes a funky mud color. Muddles the white. So I'm getting a little bit more of my highlight color. I'm gonna make a little peak right here. Bring that down a little bit. Ever so slightly. So right here is a little bit of a peak I added right up in here. There we go. Maybe you'll see that a little bit better when you see this. But that one just made a little bit of a peak. I'm gonna come up here and work on this big boy. Right at the very top. Kind of come down here around like that.
Natalie. Pinger.
Who?
Natalie. He says Pinger.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching. Come around here like that. Kind of come down there like that. Gotta make sure just enough highlight on the edge of my knife. I gotta get enough highlight on the edge of my knife so that it'll actually run off there and kind of make this peak stand out more. This part of the mountain. And then just depends on. A lot of times I'll have this little straggler peak back here in the back. There's a couple things you can do. You can, the way you highlight it and shadow it, you can bring it forward, or you can push it back. So I think on this one, I'm gonna go ahead and push it back. So I'm gonna put some highlight color on it first. Then just kind of bring it around like that. And then I'm gonna work on this one a little bit. I'm gonna put the darker color for the shadow. So we'll put that on here first. Bring that down.
2 cheeses. I love cheese. Is this
Make sure I got that enough of the darker color back there. So I got that little peak there. Now I can take my shadow color for this peak and just start right there and bring that down. And as I came down there, I just pushed that peak with this edge, I push that peak all the way back behind the mountain, so the sun's shining off that top edge right there. Then I'm just going to come in here and quickly form the rest of this this side of the mountain here. Just like so, with my shadow color. Sometimes I bring that, like this little colors that the reason why I try to get as much of this background color off as possible is that sometimes I get down in here and it comes back up in there with my color, but that's okay, you just work it out. Just don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents. And I ran out of shadow color, so I had to mix me a little bit of shadow color. There, you see that really dark there. And actually, sometimes when you get that lighter color in there on where you're making your ridge, actually sometimes makes a cool effect. You can see your ridge a little bit better. All right, not that much. We got Disney background music here, courtesy of Kylie. She's busy with that and having fun, so that's what's important. Oh, come in here and kind of clean this up a little bit, make it look very mountainy. Anything that could look like a ridge or something in there, highlight our shadow color, and I'm still getting too much of a darn crappy mixture of whatever color it is. All right, I think that looks pretty good right there, Angie.
Yes, it looks awesome.
If I add a little bit more shadow in here,
Did I look like I had a carrot nose?
kind of make that stand out a little bit more. And I have to sometimes stand back a little bit and just look at it and make sure I'm feeling it. And then I come back here. I just don't like that mud mixture crap that's going on right there.
Yeah!
It's really annoying me. And I'm getting very annoyed with it. Sometimes I get annoyed with this. I can use a whole tube of brown trying to get this right sometimes, so just dab my knife there.
Whoa!
There we go.
Who made that one?
Clean off the
I
knife
thought
up
that
here.
was saying I thought you did that.
I think I'm getting happy with this now. I can sometimes beat this highlight and shadow to death. I just gotta sometimes tell myself to stop. Especially when it starts to annoy me to the point that I'm getting mad at it.
Your
There we
mom
go.
said she drove by the Monticello. She's visiting Monticello.
Monticello, all right. What you got going up there?
She drove by the trailer.
Oh, is it still intact?
And they just went by where Aaron Diener
Oh,
used to live when you rode the bus
yeah.
together.
It's probably all overgrown now. I got my sap green I don't know what the heck, I must have got a crappy tube that was full of a lot of oil. And my sap green started dripping on me there. So I had to catch that before it ran off the pallet and down the hall. So I'm mixing up a color that's like a mixture of my browns I got left over in here. Just mixing them up, getting a little bit of this black. I get a little bit of I'm gonna get a little bit of the titanium white mix in there to make myself a little bit a slightly gray color. Just kind of get all that stuff there. And I'm just gonna make a little foothill here. Just kind of come in here at the angle you want it to be, and bring it down here. And you just make your angles. Keep that, just like over here, keep that that top edge really darker than the rest of your little foothill there. And just make out the rest of it there. Just a little foothill. I might take a little bit more black and come across the top there. There we go. Pull it this way a little bit. Give it a little bit more shape and definition. Not too much because it's going to be in the background, so. Now, I'll take that same brush and whiten it down a little bit and give me some distant, really distant trees. I'll do it back here along this mountain too. When you do that, everything goes up, no matter what slope your hills and mountains are. Everything goes up. Every tree goes up, straight up towards the sky. And come all the way down like that. So I come in here and kind of clean up the bottom edges of those little trees, and then kind of make this little illusion of maybe a little grass and more other trees growing there. And a lot of it's going to get covered up, so that really doesn't matter as much. Yeah, before I put that down, I'm going to go ahead and everything in the background is a little bit lighter in color than your foreground, so I'm going to come back in now and get a little bit more of the black. A little bit more of the black. A little bit more of my darker brown. Mix that all together on my palette here. Get me a nice healthy bit of that. Get my fan brush all loaded up with that. Oh, and I'm going to start covering up my background. Some of this foothill will show, some of it, most of it won't. But I'm going to start bringing some like little fir trees and stuff forward into this painting. Layer after layer after layer after layer. Everything that comes to you gets a little bit, it gets closer to you, gets darker. You're able to make out a little bit more detail, like individual trees and stuff. All the stuff in the way background you really can't make out. But you just kind of put it in there so you know it's there. It adds a little bit of depth to your painting and makes it look cool. Better than someone else's. Everybody still hearing me okay? And then as you get down towards the middle of your horizon or whatever, I kind of I make the trees a little smaller.
Can you guys hear him talking?
This side I didn't really make a foothill, but I'm going to go ahead and put myself some trees over here, and then kind of make an artificial little impromptu landmass over here. This one's not coming up from as high an angle as that one, so I try to do that sometimes too. I try to switch these paintings up because I like making mountains, so and it's one of my biggest sellers is my mountains.
This is
So,
the greatest show!
I've always got room to make mountains, so I try to switch them up how I make them. Sometimes if your paint's not sticking, like right there, that's not sticking too bad. I'm gonna get a little bit of paint thinner and add it to my brush. Thin down this black paint here so it'll stick a little bit better. It was kind of running into that mountain color there, just wasn't sticking right. So I'm gonna go in there and get a little bit of paint thinner, and there we go. There we go. Now we can see these suckers. Now the paint's coming off the brush. And these are getting closer to you, so you can see a little bit more, make out a little bit more of the branches and stuff on them. So I kind of got them leaning there towards the middle. There we go. I just kind of take my brush kind of sideways and make like a little land mass. Back and forth. This is where I start working on the lay of my land, how I want everything from the foreground to start shaping up. It's shaped by your background. So I'm putting some water in here, so I want to make sure I leave myself enough room to put water in. I don't want to cover up all my highlight color that I put in here from the sun, and I don't want to cover up all the blue. So I'm always paying attention to that. You always got to pay attention to that when you're painting. You don't want to cover up something that you're wanting to show through later in your painting. Well, that's a good start right there. Maybe add a little bit more definition of some of these trees there in the background. Just a little bit more. Make them stand out a little bit more. I hope you guys can see that. We don't have anybody checking on YouTube. We don't have anybody checking on YouTube right now to see if it shows up really well. I'm putting some little bitty trees way back in the distance there.
I'll look at them.
Almost covers up that little gap, but there's a little bitty gap I've left right there for what I'm getting ready to do. Just add some. I'm adding some darker color here, like little. You can see little silhouettes of trees or down through here, and then this right here, I like this little stuff here. It's got like almost like a misty effect to it. You leave that in there so that when I add my next layer, it creates a barrier, like a barrier between this layer and the layer in front of it, and then it creates more distance in your painting. And then when I want to put like grass and stuff on my ground here, it's nice to have this dark area right here as a base for your colorful foliage that you'll put on there. So I'm going to grab a smaller brush here. When I start making water back in the background, way in the background, I grab like a little small, what do we got here? This is the number 2. I actually got a couple number 1 brushes, but I used them up earlier in the day when I painted. And I mix up, this one's already got a little bit of that blue color in there, but I mix a little bit of the blue in there. I get the titanium white, which is the thicker white. I mix that in there, and I get the thinner white down here, the liquid white, or magic white. A lot of people like to call it magic white. And then load up my brush. And I start back here in the back and just kind of work my water back and forth, really methodically back and forth. And back there, it's going to be it's not going to be 100% blue. It's going to pick up some of your darker colors that you've laid down, and that's okay. That's like, mud back there. It's the banks of the water. It's shadow. It's okay to do that back here in the back. You try to cut that out as you come forward more and make your water stand out a little bit more. But if it gets a little bit too dark, like I don't like it that dark, so I'll just put a little bit of magic white on the tip of my brush, and I'll come back in here and just kind of run that magic white across there, and it pulls that magic white off in there, and it sort of makes an effect of like water rushing down this mountain somewhere, feeding into the stream that's going to feed into whatever I have down here. Grab some more white. I'm constantly grabbing white and blue, and when I do this, and then I'm doing when I'm making my water coming forward, I'm doing this little stroke like this, like a rocking stroke right there, and just kind of makes little waves. Looks like Kylie is, what's Kylie watching? Toy Story. Alright, there's one. I'm just going to go ahead and do my banks up here because it's a pretty muddy color. So I'm just going to kind of do my banks first, and then I'm going to come in with my blue and my white. There we go. Kind of wash my brush off a little bit. Come in and grab some more white. I used to put in a lot of color through here and then do my water. And then I was really making a mess. So I started putting in my water first, and then putting in my. I dipped into the phthalo blue there. Put a little blue highlight on that water.
They can hear you better when you were, so since you started projecting.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you guys can hear me a little bit better. I'm sorry. I have to get myself a water so I can settle down my.
I told him it was all that
throat.
yelling from the Purdue game.
Oh yeah, my throat's still killing me from the Purdue game. Now I have to go back in with the white and then just kind of pick out some spots to put some where it might be ruffling up there. Now, and when I get up here, closer here in the foreground, and I start thinking about all the stuff I'm going to put in here, that's when I start coming in here and thinking about what I'm going to put in here, because this is a warmer climate painting, so I'm going to want some sort of foliage underneath here. So I'm just going to grab myself a little brush, a little fan brush. Fan brush I've been using today. It's got a little bit of green on it already, and I'll run it through. I'll run it through some green, sap green here, and I might pick up a little bit of my yellows. Pull my brush through those. If it doesn't stick to my, it didn't really stick all that much to my painting here. Come in here into my thinner, pick up a little bit of paint thinner, and then I come through all my colors again. It'll thin them down, and then it'll definitely come off now. And I'm just paying attention to the lay of my land and kind of running it down here. Being really careful not to go too much into my water, but a little bit in your water is not too bad. Stuff grows all the way, off the edges of stuff and into the water. Grows over. I'm gonna come down there, and I'm not going to put too much because I'm going to cover up a lot of this. And it's still. You're still at such a distance that you're not going to be able to pick up like individual bushes and things like that. You're just basically making it, this is me putting my thinner in there and kind of mixing my colors up. But you're basically just putting in starting to put some color as you're getting closer to the foreground. You want to start putting in some color because you're going to start seeing some things. And then since I'm coming forward, I'm going to put a little bit more color here. A little bit more. There we go. There's some good bushes and stuff right there. A little bit of green there. Push a little bit harder on this. You get a little bit of that green that's in there. Maybe that's a little bit taller. Some taller plants right there. Maybe a little bit right there. There we go. Kind of come through it. Just kind of follow the lay of your land back and forth how you want it to be. And you got two sides over here. And like I said, a lot of this stuff I end up covering up. But to make your foreground all up in this, you have to start back there and make all that before you make all this pretty stuff up here. So that's what I'm doing here. Just get this on here, and then I will kind of fix up my shoreline a little bit here with a line with a little knife. Use a knife here and scrape in a little bit of shoreline. So I'll come in here and get my liquid white and my blue, put that on the edge of the knife there. And just come along here and just kind of scrape in a shoreline.
Daddy,
Yeah, honey. What you doing?
have you seen the red rubber
Pretty-
band?
No, I haven't, honey. Pretty muddy shoreline here, but that's all right.
Where'd it
Lots of
go?
mud. This is my first 18 by 20. Oh, turn that on. Can I leave the lights alone, please? This is my first 18 by 24 painting.
There we go.
So I'm used to painting on the 16 by 20s, which is like, it'll be down here and a little bit in. So I'm trying to scale all my techniques and stuff. I'm trying to scale them up as opposed to scaling them down on some of my smaller paintings.
Really?
So just coming in here and putting in this shoreline here.
I'm hungry for my lettuce now.
Okay, I follow it back.
Autumn Marcus is on.
Hey Autumn, how have you been? I kind of follow it back to a point where you really can't tell where the shoreline really would, you can see where it is, but you don't need anything to really highlight it for you. No sense in wasting paint and time back there. I just kind of bring this one up here, and that's a really muddy bank. Really muddy bank. And add a little bit more up in here. Just, you can do this how you can do it. You can make it a muddy bank. You can put enough white and blue in here to take away all the mud in here, but I kind of like the muddy look in this one. Kind of makes it look like when you get enough white on there, it kind of looks like the water's bouncing off the edge there. And I'm gonna take this little brush here that I was making the water with, and come back in here and fix my little happy accidents where I brought too much of the shore down into my water. There we go. Still some rushing rapids through here. I want to put a little bit of choppy water there. A little bit more choppy water there. Like as it's coming down, it's hitting some rocks and stuff that's in this water. That kind of looks like it's getting a little choppy down there. Oh, and so I got that going there. Now, what I like to do on this is make little projections down here. On this canvas, I can make a ton of different things here on this and kind of have this zigzaggy water going everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab myself one of my favorite foliage or tree making brushes and make something here. What I'm gonna do? I'm actually going to mix a little bit of pine tree color. Change my mind. I'm gonna do the pine trees. Do some pine trees up in here first, and then do some of those cool trees out front there. So then I'm gonna make me a mixture, a little bit of a darker green. I might get a little bit of crimson in there. Oh, a little bit of the brown. You can make the background of a tree. You can make it with almost any color. I got really muddy palette going today, but it's worked for me so far. So let's get that in there. I might just make one lone tree right here. So you pick where you want it to be. I don't want to cover up my sun. To me, I wanted to make a really nice southwest warm sky. So I don't want to cover up that sun at all. I don't want anything to go over top of that sun, but I want a lot of stuff to go in the background. So I'm just going to come right through here, pick a spot, and then just come down. Right through all that stuff I just did. This is gonna be a big, big, big pine tree. Loading up my brush here. I'll start at the top of this sucker here. Kinda come down here like that. Just kind of go back and forth. I'm kind of wobbling my brush as I go back and forth to make this effect. On my smaller pine trees, I don't do this much wobbling back and forth. I'm actually picking up some of the color from my little starter point that I made there. I'm actually picking up some of that color as I go across it and putting it back into my branches there. Coming down. That sounded like the dog. That wasn't the dog, was it? Was that the garbage disposal?
No.
Oh. The joys of painting near your kitchen. Kind of work this thing back and forth and however you like it, however many branches you want to have on this thing. There's 100 different ways to make trees. None of them are wrong. I gotta get a little bit of my paint thinner to make that paint come off a little bit easier. The rule of thumb on this kind of technique is that a wet paint sticks much better to the thicker paint. No matter what, if you got a thicker paint on your brush, it's going to pull the thin paint off of your canvas and put it onto your brush. Well, that's not normally how you paint. That's painting in reverse, and I don't know many people that do that. So yeah, when you're doing this kind of technique, you want to do the liquid paint on top of the thick paint. On your brush to the canvas. All right. Ooh, I got a little bit too much wet there. That's all right. Kind of bring it down. A little bit of
Hang it up, bring it down.
A little bit of land mass there.
I watched the video.
I'm looking back here how I want this to look as this is coming down here.
A pizza.
Alright.
This time not that square pizza. The triangle pizza.
Kylie.
Not the square pizza. The triangle pizza. Not square.
Fix up my middle a little bit. Right. Now I'll come in with a little bit of highlight color, which I just kind of mix on my brush here with these yellows that I have here. Get those. I'm gonna thin those down just a bit.
This time it's cut into triangles.
Thin them down so they stick on top of that already wet paint.
And then you're gonna give me my.
This is a really warm
triangle
painting, so I'm not trying to get into the like really bright yellows and stuff. I want to keep them closer to the green hue. It's really warm in midsummer here. I'll come through here and just add some highlights to this. Just make it stand out a little bit. You can reshape your branches if you want with the highlight color. And as you get down, I'll just put a little bit more of my highlight color on here.
Yeah.
Kylie. I kind of just follow that all the way down into here. Let's make it like that. This, the bottom part here is not staying out how I want it to, so I'm going to add some darker green into that. Back into it. There we go. I'm gonna take a. And I'm running out of clean brushes here. That's all right. I'm gonna add a little bit of. On this clean brush, I'm gonna add a little bit of my colors that I do the water with. Kind of mix it in there on that brush. I'm gonna come down and grab some of this and bring it down into here and make a reflection. Just do that and come over, go across it like that, and just kind of looks like that's all reflecting in there. I could do, I think I'll do it this time, just kind of do a reverse tree here. Just kind of take your brush and do the opposite of what you did coming down with that. And it's not all going to show up, but enough of it will. But you can kind of gently go over top of that, bring it down on top of that. And then you can reflect this tree in the water. Some of this might get covered up from what I do down here, but some of it's going to show up and it's just going to make your painting look a lot cooler. There we go. So it's reflecting a little bit in there. Before I forget, I'm going to go in with a little bit of my brown color that I don't have. I went through a lot of brown in this painting. I'll add a little more brown there. Get some brown on the edge of my brush, my knife here. I'm just going to kind of run this up here a little bit and put in like the indication of the middle of that tree. I'll run that up like that, right there at the middle. A little point to it.
I couldn't wait to eat this.
Before I move on away from this thing, I gotta make myself a water line.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Come in here and just come right where you want the bottom of that this little land mass to be, and just put it in there.
Look,
You can have it come out as far as you want to.
look, Mom.
It could be a little bit of dirt, or like a little mound here, a mound of dirt that's come out there, and the water's kind of bouncing off of it. There we go. Something like that. Just to kind of separate the water from the land mass. Then, since I did a reflection over here, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a little bit of a reflection on the other side. I've already got a little bit of the watercolor in there. I'm gonna do a reflection right here too. Pull some of that. I'm gonna pull some of that dirt down too. You pull down the dirt color too. It sometimes looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna do that right there. I know I just kind of messed up my shoreline a little bit, but this effect right here will make it look a lot crisper in the long run. Oh, I'm gonna pull this down too.
I can't eat it.
Pull that down a little bit too.
Daddy, look where I'm eating.
Pull that down and make that look like some
Daddy, look where
reflective
I'm
stuff.
eating.
Ooh, nice. Are you eating pizza? Kylie's getting her some
And
pizza.
Mommy is eating pizza. Pizza party.
Right. I'll come across here. Just kind of make some reflections. I like making reflections in the water. I kind of didn't put some reflections back there, but you really can't see it. That's okay. Then come across here, and now you got yourself a little bit of reflection.
What are you making at the bottom?
Oh, I got some trees I'm gonna put down there. I'm gonna come back up in here. I'm gonna fix up my shoreline again. Kind of screwed it up back there, but I wanted to have that little bit of reflection there, and it just makes it look that much better. That much more crisp. Just kind of fix that up a little bit. Yeah, this side didn't do too bad. I'll fix it up still. fix it up, and then move on. Try not to spend too much time on it because I could beat this thing to death.
Yeah, you could.
I could, couldn't I? I could. And I'm still gonna make some bubbly stuff in here over top of my highlights I just put in. Like the water's just coming in here and kind of churning down, and then it comes off into here into a point, and then it goes off in separate ways. You know, realistically, I could really make a cool little effect here and make a little bit of a waterfall effect there. Now I'll do my break-free test here on this one. Let's see. I just got an idea just to kind of come in here and just kind of, this is coming right here and then go over this way and go down that way. Mix this in with my, I get a little bit of, to make that stand out a little bit more, I'll come into my phthalo green. Sounds odd with the phthalo green, but I get phthalo green to the blue hue, so it just looks like aqua, like an aqua color. There we go. There we go. Looks, maybe the water comes down there a little bit. I get a little bit more white in there. There we go.
Shine
Yeah, the aqua color or the phthalo green is just kind of there for like a shadow color. It's not meant to be the waterfall. It's just meant to be a shadow color so that I can put that water over top of it that pops out a little bit more.
Daddy, Joyce just popped up.
Did she say Joyce? Kylie. What do you guys think about this waterfall that I just put in here? This little bitty waterfall. Let me know.
You know who's on there, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you made a waterfall?
Yeah.
What'd you
Angie, what are you doing? Eating?
Now Ken is here.
do?
Ken is here. Hey, Ken.
Oh, you know their names? Oh,
Kylie knows everybody's name. Everybody who shows up, she starts screaming out everybody's
Joyce
name.
is here, too.
What do you guys think about this little waterfall that I put in?
I don't
Just
know if
out of
they can-
nowhere.
I don't know if they can see it on this one.
Angie will have to bring up the thing when she gets done eating. She's eating.
Joyce probably missed Kylie. Kylie said, Joyce is here now.
Then I'm just gonna kind of clean up the edge
Daddy,
right there. Bring
now
that down a
when
little
the
bit.
Disney characters on your painting.
Hey, that's nice. That's
Theo,
nice.
this time it's Mickey Mouse.
Mickey the Mouse. That's nice. Mickey Mouse is awesome.
And Mickey Mouse says,
Hi.
after this painting, make a painting of a picture of me.
There we go. Now it looks like the water's come down here and it's just going off its own separate ways. I can even kind of angle this thing. The water's going that way. I can actually angle it and coming off that way. Like it's going off that way, off towards that, off to the side there too. There we go. It's just all the way you angle your brush.
Kylie Joyce said hello.
She said hello to Kylie.
Mm-hmm.
All in the way you angle your brush. And then of course you want to make the little splashes down there all around it. There you go. Now it just looks like this is a waterfall that kind of comes off of a shelf that's going around that way. This one it kind of comes out and it's a little flat over here, so it's not, you know, I didn't need to really make that that area of lift. Just kind of put some white in there, like a little foamy things, like the water's kind of come out here and then it settles down. There's a lot of different things you can do with these paintings. So I try to make them. I don't try to pre-plan them. I just try to do what happens in my head as I'm going along here. I just saw that I could put just to put myself a little bit of a waterfall in here, and then there we got it. We got a waterfall. There we go. There we go. Now I can work on this other area. So like I said, on these I can just make this go on zigzagging for days. I gotta really determine if I want to put another little thing over here and then put my things down here. What do you think, Angie?
You trying to decide what you're gonna put down there?
I know what I'm going to put down here on the bottom. I'm just trying to think about.
Oh, make it zigzag.
Yeah.
It's pretty when it's zigzag.
Yeah, okay, so let me,
Joyce said she likes the painting.
thank you, Joyce.
Aaron's watching.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Oh, let's go ahead and do this. Let's make I'm gonna cover up this. Oh no.
No,
there goes-
nothing. No, Disney characters on live.
Who is it? Who is the Disney character?
Vampirina.
Holy cow. All right, that's a big bravery test right there. Man, whew. Just added that big tree in there over everything I just made.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Losing my mind now.
Mm-hmm.
What have I done? But I added all this in here. And
Holy cow.
yeah, I could go all the way down if I get going on these things. But then this pushes that back, it pushes the waterfall back, pushes that back, that back. There's 6, 7, 8 layers in here right now.
You're
And
doing a good job.
that's just what I like to do on my paintings. I'm doing these. I've been holding this damn brush for 5 minutes. Didn't need to. So when I do a big tree like this, sometimes I come here and get what's called the filbert brush. It's really nice, thick bristled brush. Can pick up a lot of paint, lay down a lot of paint really quickly. I'm going to make a really big tree trunk. So I'm going to pick up some. I just got a little raw umber in there. You don't have to make every single tree trunk brown. So let's give me a little bit of raw umber in there. Get a little bit of paint thinner to thin it down because the thinner paint sticks to the thicker paint. I got a lot of thick paint over there, so I need some thin paint. So I get that, load that up on the brush right there. Pick out where I want this to start. I just kind of go up from there and kind of go around. A lot of the paint gets taken off down here, but you can run your brush through there and kind of scrape off your tree trunk track. Say that 3 times fast. Come back down there again and kind of run another little branch up there that way. Are you guys seeing this fine there on Facebook? I think YouTube is. You can see really good on YouTube. It zooms in pretty good.
Ate that whole thing.
Sometimes the
I ate
Facebook
that
Live
whole
is,
thing, Mom.
yeah,
Daddy,
it's still growing.
Another Disney character is coming on.
Who is it? Who is it?
This time it's Puppy Dog Pals.
Okay, Puppy Dog Pals are watching. That's nice.
Why are 3 Disney characters watching?
I must be popular. I don't know, Kylie. No, not really. But
No, another Disney character is on with you.
I'm just adding in some branches on this tree. You're not really going to see a lot of these branches, but you're going to see enough of them when I get done adding on all my highlights that it'll show through pretty well, and you'll know they're back there, and it just adds a little bit of, kind of separates. It'll separate your painting from someone who
I want some more
No.
Pepsi.
didn't pay attention to the finer details.
Pepsi. You want Pepsi?
Come there, make it a little bit more brown.
Thank you.
You better talk to your grandma Tammy. Tell her to get you some Pepsi.
Oh, you Pepsi-holics.
We're all Pepsi in this world.
Kylie, you're funny. Kylie's here. She's actually the real entertainment. I'm just a painter. There you go. Got that little foots there. You can see that. And if you want to do a little bit more fine work on your tree and add some more little sticks and limbs and twigs and stuff in there with a liner brush, get you some paint thinner, get you a nice little dose of paint there, and you can make you some little sticks and twigs and limbs that are popping off this and make them go out there, because you got to have them out there. When you come in, you put on your leaves and your branches and all, your leaves and flowers and stuff onto your tree. You got to have some branches there for your leaves to grow on. Yep. Just add a couple more in here. Doesn't have to be too crazy, because once I add that color of of my sticks, my leaves and stuff on there, it'll really pop. I come down here, I do a lot of this, take my brush and kind of just do like a little lifting motion here,
See?
little sticks and twigs that are back in there.
I
Then I will sometimes
Sure.
take a little bit of brown. Not every branch and tree has a full set of leaves on it, so I run some naked branches out to my water area. Just kind of adds a little neat little effect there coming out of here. If you've ever fished or anything on a really wooded bank of a river or lake or stream or something like that, these things stick out all over the place, and they're usually pretty littered with fishing line. A lot of it's probably mine. Yeah, I was a horrible fisherman. So
Why?
because I sucked, I couldn't catch crap. I couldn't even catch the fish that were waiting there with their mouths open, waiting for you to throw the hook in their freaking mouth. There's a little bitty one right there that sticks out there. All right. So now
Fisher.
I gotta watch out that I don't get my head into the painting. I haven't done that yet. I've painted a ton of paintings. I have not done that yet. I'm just waiting for that day to happen, where I face plant into the painting. So I'm coming in here and getting what's left of my yellows onto my tree down here. I don't really care to have a lot of yellow on it. Like I said, I really want this stuff to be really green. For me, if I keep everything more to the greener side, it just brings out that sun and that sky a little bit more. I didn't get enough paint thinner. So you don't get enough, and then you get too much. It's just a balance. You gotta get it right. Because when you put your brush up there on the canvas, it's going to tell you if you did it right. It's going to run off. It's not going to stick right, and then it's just something you got to learn if you're going to do this stuff. So I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna make this make the greenery, the leaves of this tree. Then I'm trying to follow a pattern here. Don't just put this stuff up there all willy-nilly. You got limbs and stuff up there where you put those limbs. You want some of those limbs to stick through and the tree trunk to stick through. And then you put that shadow color, the background color of the tree, and then you want this to kind of coincide with that background color you put on there. So whenever you're making trees like this, there are three phases to it. You make the back first, which is the black shadow color, and then you come and make the trunk, and then you put on your leaves, whatever color you want your leaves to be. There we go, that's a really cool green one right there. So that one stands out a little bit more. I'll give you a little bit more green on there. The green doesn't look too bad. Just put whatever color leaf you want on your tree. There we go. A few little sparklers there, so to speak, that kind of stand out as you get closer. Oh, can they see on the Facebook or whatever, that tree?
No, Kelly just asked if we could take snapshots from time to time so you could zoom in on them.
Oh, yeah, the video is just so far back. I don't even know if you guys could even see that as far. I'm looking at the camera and I'm like, I don't know how you guys can see anything. Can they see, Angie? Is it zoomed in that far? Because I can't tell.
You can't see it like that unless I were to hold it up there right next to your.
Oh. So what you're saying is, kind of rushed into this a little bit too much tonight.
No, you just don't. There's nowhere to put it to do that.
I'm just kind of filling in down through here with this this green bushy color. I don't want to cover up all that tree. But just really green, little green stuff here. And then I can do the same thing I did down here. I can put a little bit of, just kind of reverse my my brush here and kind of come down here like this. And just do the opposite of what I did with that tree and kind of do it like that. I can come in here maybe with my dark brush, has a dark color on it. I can do the same thing, turn my brush upside down and put a little bit of dark color in there. It kind of looks like an upside down tree.
Now maybe get your egg.
Then grab myself a little bit of the water,
My ball.
just a little bit of the watercolor. And then find out where I want my lay of my land to be and kind of pull that down like that, kind of run down through this tree that I put down there. Not just really lightly. You don't want to mix it all together. You just want it to kind of distort it. And then kind of pull that down. Get some of that green color in there. That looks really cool. And then if you don't have the green color in there,
Mommy,
take your brush that has the green color and add a little bit of green in there. I didn't have enough green in there. I want more
do you
green.
know what those things are right there? Daddy,
Bring it
you know
down.
what those things are on my art?
What are they, honey? There you go. Got
Right.
some green sparklers in
Those
there.
little dots.
And yeah,
Do you know what they are?
go across it like
They're
this to make it.
eggs. They're
Ooh,
Easter
okay.
eggs.
Go across it like this to make it like a reflection in the water there. That just kind of looks like a reflected tree, and then there's the shoreline. And then what ties it all together is when you come in here with your knife. I'm running out of space down here. I've used so many damn knives and stuff today. Come in here with my shoreline watercolor, and then just come in here and start putting in a shoreline. You can make your shoreline as big as you want. You don't even have to use like the white that I do. And see, I just made that little bit of a dip to give it a little bit of depth right there. You can do little things like that if you want. You could take a little bit of brown and like pull some brown through here and pull it out and make like a little bank. Like if you came up in here, you could go fishing. But for the sake of this video not going too awfully long, I'm just going to put in a little bit of white, like the water's kind of bouncing off the shore there. There we go, just like that. I might run this out a little bit further.
Can we get that
All right.
piece?
So what that side done. Does that look all right there? That tree. So we got us a little thing there. All right. Yeah, really on this one, we got so many layers and everything going on through here. I've ran a couple of nice sized trees
I
up.
can't get this out.
Down here in the bottom, I'm going to run just,
There we go.
like I
Got
said,
it.
a lot of stuff that I make, I cover a lot of it up. But I make it because I have to. I gotta make my background before I make my foreground. So I'm running this over here like this. I got an idea for something. Right here.
Sally's on.
Hey Sally, how you doing? I got a really cool idea for something right here. I'm hoping that I can make it work. So I made this little reflection here, which is really cool, but I'm going to cover a lot of that up. Too. Let's do this. Let's go right in here.
And Brandy.
Hey Brandy, how you doing? I'm going to kind of run this at an angle right here, down here. Now, when I make something and then I want to cover it up, I just kind of do things like this. So I had that shadow going right in here of that tree, but I didn't really care to have that there with this effect that I'm going to do right here. So I haven't painted this effect that I'm going to do right now live. I have not painted this yet live for everybody. So just bear with me as I'm doing it. Hope you guys all like this. It's a really cool thing. I hope it works out. Just gotta get this in here first. I like being pretty precise with my trees and stuff. So I'm just gonna take my little liner brush here that I've had with the browns and stuff. I'm gonna just make really short work of making these trunks. Because I got a really cool idea to do something right here. as I was up in here, I was hoping I'd have enough room down through here. So I'm just gonna come in here, get up in here, quickly make me some some branches there, something to do my highlight color. Give me a guide for my highlight color. Don't have to be too crazy neat with your branches, because the branches go every which way. There we go. Make a little foot there for it. I may make this a little bit brighter. There we go. Now I'm gonna come in here and just add some sticks and twigs right through here. Stuff that you might not see all of it, but you'll see some of it. And the ones that you do see, you'll be wowed by it a little bit. And I'm gonna come in here like my traditional stick and twig there. I can't make these kind of things without having a little something sticking up out there like that. That's just somewhat become my little signature thing I do when I do my little water scenes with the edges. So then I'm gonna come right here and put me in a little tree on this side. I'm trying to stay out of,
Good.
trying to make it so everybody can see.
You got it. I'm out of the way now.
No, that's all right. I thought you had a video.
No.
Sorry guys, if you couldn't see that, but I've just kind of put in some branches here for this tree. And just some sticks and twigs through here. And run a little bit of something out through here. I like this little look, this little look of little sticks and things sticking up off the nakedly out on top of this this foliage that ends up coming out here. Got a little one up there, just a little small one right there. All right, my hands are all filthy here. I got so much paint down here on my stuff, but I'm gonna get myself a little bit more. I'm gonna get myself a little bit more of my yellow ochre. I want a little bit of yellow down in here. So give me a little bit of yellow ochre. Take this green to a really light green side. A little bit of yellow. Make sure I get the right brush here. There it is. There she is. If you're trying to put highlights on something and you grab a really dark color that's not a highlight, it can really mess your world up, make your world really hard. So I'm just gonna come in here with this yellow ochre I got there. I'm gonna mix it in with the green that I've got on here, the thin down green. I don't need to dip into my paint there because I got all this thin green paint down here. But I want it to be a little bit, I want some of this yellow to stick out down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna come down up here and start out just highlighting that tree just with the top edge of my brush here. Like I said, as you come all the way down and forward in your paintings, you see more detail. So down here you're gonna see, you're gonna see more of the bushes and the stuff. I'm gonna come over here and do the same thing over here. Just kind of highlight the edge, following a really good pattern, how your tree might be in there, and whatever bushes you have in there. And don't lose all of your dark either. Your dark is your friend. It's that background makes your leaves and everything pop. And then this right here is going to be a shadow. So,
Brandy said she loves the sky view.
Who?
Brandy.
Oh, thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that.
And then for Kelly, I posted pictures on the website.
Oh, okay. Now, I'm sorry that we're gonna find it. If we're gonna keep doing this, we will find a better way to get this so you guys can see this
She
video.
likes to see detailed pictures.
All right, because I want you guys to be able to see.
Photos.
I don't know if you guys can see the videos well, and I want you guys to be able to see these videos that I'm doing.
They can see that.
Okay, good.
She wants the photos so she can zoom in.
Oh, good. Thank you for doing that, Angie. Okay, so this one right here. All right, I didn't really. Since I've been reflecting everything, I'm gonna follow the theme. I'm gonna reflect this. Reflect it. Put a little bit of this highlight color in there. That way, it's all the way authentically reflected. But it just adds a really cool feel to it because you're looking here, go, man, that tree's reflecting in there. All this stuff's reflecting in there. All this stuff. It just makes it pop. And pull it down. Pull down very lightly. Very lightly. And then I'm going to match these two across here. They're kind of across from each other. I'm going to match those. And pull down. And this really looks really cool. Like close up, this looks like really cool to me. So I'm hoping you guys, we can pull that up and show you guys when I'm done up here. And then come across gently, just to create that sheen look. Looks like a reflection off the water. Then come follow the same path towards the middle on this side, creating a sheen on that side as well. And there we go. Now, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna make my shoreline here. My bank, or what you wanna call it. Just come in here, just kind of clean up this edge. I know what's coming next, so I'm gonna kind of make this a little bit choppier than I normally would. Because I'm gonna do a little bit of an effect that I haven't done in a very long time on a painting.
Use this paint shoot to shoot the paint cross.
Just kind of come in there, kind of make that really rough. I want it really rough and choppy.
Yeah, really rough and choppy.
Really rough and choppy coming off that bank. I'm trying to quickly do this because I want whoever's on here to be able to see this live. I don't,
Space popping out.
a really cool idea here.
Kelly said the videos are great. She just likes to see how the detail,
Oh,
how you detail in twigs, bushes, shadows, etc.
thank you, Kelly. I love that. Thank you very much. I'm glad you liked it. How you guys like this painting? Let me know. I even take critiques too, because everybody has ideas and everything to do these things, and I love all the input that I get from everybody. Lots of things you guys say are really cool and constructive for me. Everybody's got different techniques they use, and I'm willing to see and use someone else's technique as well. All right, it's a really cool idea here. I'm going to go ahead and connect these two land masses here. Just kind of run them together here. Just run them together. Almost like a log. A log fell across there. Like a long time ago, a log fell across here. And run it up there. Run it up on the bank. Right there.
Joyce said she loves it.
Thank you, Joyce. Run it across.
Oh wow.
Run it
What
across
you
here.
doing now? What you making there?
This is like, so I had this idea the other day. I've done this once before with like some making a ledge, but I wanted to take something from my mountain scene that I did the other day. I wanted to take that and kind of build on that effect. So I'm just laying in this little color that's kind of going across here. And then I'm going to take my liner brush here. It's got my tree trunk and limb making that I do. I'm going to bring it to a point here. I'm going to kind of, let's see, which side, I'm right-handed, so I kind of tend to do things off to that way a little bit better. So I'm going to make some tree limbs off of this thing right here, like a tree fell across this little area here. And you might, one might you guys see down there a little bit sticking into the water.
Daddy, no Buzz Lightyear, the Disney character,
Oh, shoot.
is on there.
Oh, that's awesome. So then, there's one maybe sticking right here still there. And let's see here. Before I get too into this, I gotta do another.
Daddy,
So that right there is kind of sticking into the water.
the
So
characters are made out of moving paint.
before I get too far along, I'm going to kind of put a little ruffle around that this tree branch down here that's in the water. Like it went into the water. So I want to put a little bit of bouncing water that's kind of bouncing off of it like that. And it just makes it look like it's sticking down into the water. I gotta be careful that I don't cover it all the way up, but I gotta go all the way around it. There we go. So I went all the way around it, and that part's sticking underneath the water, and this part's going down into the water. All right. That part's the fun part. I might do a little bit of a, let's see here. Let me do a little bit of water's edge at the bottom of this too. Just kind of clean that part up. So it kind of looks like it laid across in the water there. And that looks like there's a little bit of water sneaking out underneath there. And then I'm going to take, that brush is dirty now. I'm going to take another one of my white brushes, going to go into this watercolor, get it really thin, because what I'm going to do here is going to have to go over top of that log. Get a little bit of that blue color in there, a little bit more, thin it down a little bit more. Hope this works out.
Joyce asked if you had fun at Disney.
Who, for Kylie?
Yes!
Kylie, did you have fun at Disney? I think you did.
Yeah! Yes!
I'm getting a little bit more of my liquid white here.
Yes!
Christy, yeah, she said great job. Her boss even likes it.
Oh, and the painting?
Kyle's pushing the video away, but
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the
Give me
positive
my
feedback.
lizard.
I just had to get a little bit more of my liquid white. I've been using a lot of paint on this thing. This is a big, I've not painted on this canvas for white canvas, and it's amazing how much paint you have to use to get on this big of a canvas. My black canvases, I don't use nearly as much paint. I do a lot of different things with it, but I don't use nearly this much paint. All right. I hope this works. I haven't tried this yet. I'm just gonna create a little waterfall over top of that. So you see what I did there? I'm bringing the water back through here, and I'm creating a little waterfall over top of that that log there. I was starting to think, as I got through here and did this, I was starting to think about this little idea down here a little bit ago, and I was hoping it would work. I've not done it before. I've only done one other scene where I've done this waterfall, and Joyce bought that painting before I could get my signature on it. So there we go. And you know, it's got a little bit of like a little bit of brown in there from the tree, but that's all right. This thing right here, so there's mud and everything else built up over here. Just picking up some of that mud and bringing it over to this part. I want to kind of clean that area, clean up the area behind here a little bit. Kind of blend it back. It doesn't just look like a big old water spot, you know, a big old white spot in the bottom of the painting. All right. Add a little bit more blue in there. All right. Come down here, come down here, come down here. Come back over it.
Kelly said, "Hi, son."
Who said that?
Kelly? I don't know what that means.
Oh,
Is someone else
is
on?
Alex on there or Chris?
Sure.
All right. I'm creating some choppiness back here in the background leading up to this waterfall. As the water kind of gets backed up to come into a waterfall, it gets choppy too.
We're gonna choke me.
So I got that coming there. Just want to make this waterfall look good, so.
Okay. Down.
There's some more of it just spilling over there.
Go watch
It just spills over here.
Oh, Alex. Yeah, Alex was on.
There we go. That's about all I really need for that, and I can just kind of do my little splasharoos here. Splasharoos, like it just it's really splashing over here, and it's kind of going up in here and up in there. Just make it you just make the splashes as big as you want. To me, I'm thinking this water's coming down really, really hard, and it's coming down, being squeezed down this little spot right here. It's really pouring over. So put a lot of splashers in through here, and then with this, it's going to be really choppy through here. So I'm going to do that back and forth effect here all the way up to the shore, because this is all going to be really choppy, really muddy up here on the sides. So I'm just going to do that. This is the fun little detail work I like. You get to kind of pick how I want this to look off here to the side. And the same thing over here. It's going to be choppy over here. I wanted to be able to see that branch there, so I'm not going to cover up that branch. Did I get in your way?
No, I
What do you guys think of this little waterfall over a fallen down branch down here? This water over here is really choppy, really muddy. I don't want to take away all the reflection there. And then as we get over here, to get a little bit more into the watercolor, it's not going to be as muddy right there in the middle. And we're just about done here with this, but I want to make a little pattern of water flowing through here. It's coming down here pretty hard. It's not just going to stop flowing, so it's got to flow. And I don't want to take away all the reflection that I got there. So I'm being mindful of that. Just doing these rocking back and forth motion. There we go. I can beat that effect to death too. All right, so I got my little stuff there. Now here's where I can kind of come in and I can wall this off a little bit more. How I got it I kind of got it loculated right over here. I got it just kind of quarantined over there that one side. I can take my brush, whenever the toddler runs by me, I can take my brush, my little liner brush, make myself a really, really big limb right there. Really big branch that it pushes it to where this waterfall is coming over here. And I put a lot of choppy water underneath here too, so water's coming underneath this this tree trunk, but it's also coming over top pretty well. And you can go all crazy with this and just kind of add you a big old fork on there. Just make it a big enough branch that would dam up some water and cause a waterfall effect. These little forks. Just put you a little bit of whatever you really want to put on this tree. All right. So to me, I think something else might look good over here. Let's see. I'm going to dip into I got so many brushes going down here, it's not even funny. This is the way I paint. This is how I like to do my videos. I don't like to have it all 100% planned out and have to sit in the studio, and I don't like to do all this editing and stuff like that. I like to paint. I like to share that love of painting And then that's what I like to do. Anything else that makes that harder, I don't like to do. All right, so let's see. We'll go ahead and add this little guy is.
Then put a plant shooter on there. A plant shooter looks like this. It has plant on the bottom of
Yeah.
it, and you load it back in like this.
Yeah.
And then you start shooting, and it shoots weeds.
Shoots plants.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of put this guy's little wing on here.
Is that his wing?
Yeah. I'll pull it back a little further. Make him have a bigger posterior. There we go. I'll put me a little bitty duck there, or a swan, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna get a little bit of yellow on the end of my brush here. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a beak. That one didn't work out so well. Let's thin this down. The liquid white that I use to do this, it's already really thin, so you gotta thin down your other paint if you're gonna put a paint on top of the liquid white. You gotta thin it down even more. So I just thin it down a little bit more and come in there, make his little head there. You can't make out a lot of detail, but you should be able to make out the little beak here, and then his little eyes. And then he's up here near the shore, so you can make out his little feet. There's his little feet kind of sitting back there. So he's looking for the fish that are coming down through here, and one that flops up over there, he's going to snag that
Let me take a
sucker.
picture of him before my phone dies.
Yeah, he's gonna snap that sucker.
Kylie, you are crazy. All right, I think I'm about done with that. I might make a little. You know what? I think I want to make a little Kylie right here. I want to make a little Kylie.
Time for the Kylie
Time for
tree.
Kylie. There's a pine tree here, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a little. I'm gonna do a little tree right here. Maybe this little guy down here, him and his family were flying up over here, and they had their lunch, and then they let their lunch go, and now we have a little baby tree growing. So, Bob Ross was right. You make up stories as you go, and it just makes it funner, and you kind of see
Dad,
things.
you make a plant shooter on there?
You see things,
Yeah.
and then you see things you may not have thought of whenever you start having to build a little story in your mind. So, some of it's a funny story, some of it's weird and doesn't make sense, but as long as it makes you do a good painting.
You have some crazy good detail on this one.
Oh, thank you. Is that from you or?
That's for me.
There we go. These little bitty liner brushes are awesome for doing the detail work. I'm never going to do the stuff that let's say Thomas Kincaid did and all that stuff. Thomas Kincaid would sit for months and do a painting and do like 1 and 2 hair brushes and do this stuff. I don't have that kind of patience, and I like to have a lot of reward right up front. So that's why I like to paint this kind of paintings like this, because I can get reward within an hour or two. I think that's pretty cool right there. I can actually come and take this. I can take my brush here, and I can come in there with something like this.
Dad, you make a plant shooter?
myself a little. I'm gonna make my. I'll make a little. I'll make a little plant there next to her. Next to her, and I'm gonna grab. I haven't used a lot of this red
Look, Mommy,
on this painting,
I made.
but I'm gonna go in here and grab some of this red that I have.
Look, Daddy, I made a flower.
Oh, that's pretty, Kylie. Get this red, this crimson. Thin it down a little bit so that it sticks really nicely to that paint. And then I'm gonna go right up in here. Make myself a little plant. It's got three little plants on there. I've seen these plants before. I don't know what kind of plant. If anybody knows what kind of flower that is with those little stacks of blooms on it. I've seen like purples and blues and reds. I like to make those little things.
If anybody knows, it'd be Joyce.
Joyce,
Do you know what kind of flower that is?
you're up, Joyce. I like that so much, I am going to make another one. Angie likes these things, so I'm going to make one over here. Just little hidden flowers. I'm going to make one right here. See, if I keep going, I could just keep painting and painting, and I look at the time. If I'm not tired, I'm like, okay, I got another hour. I'll just put a whole bunch of stuff on here, but I got to stop at some point. There we go. There, it looks like a cool one.
And
This right here, I do this with these flowers right here. Angie loves these flowers. My wife, she loves these flowers. So I put them in there for her. And they're pretty. There you go. If you get really close to this, there actually is that small of a detail. I'm able to put 3 little individual spots
Go like this.
where there are blooms.
Joyce can't see it because we are far away. Let me see if I can get up there. This thing doesn't.
Show you.
This does not.
We'll show you those that I did there. And then I will show you, if Angie zooms in on my hand, I'll show you how I make them. Here, you zoom in on this.
What?
Can you see me putting this in there?
Yeah.
I'm pushing the brush into that paint, and pretty much when I push it into the paint, what goes onto the palette is on the end of my brush, a little ridge of paint. So then I come up here, kind of steady my hand, and then just push up, push up, push up, push up. There we go. I got 3 little buds of a plant right there. And since our little Kylie likes to run around naked a lot, I left her a naked tree. Kylie, you're out here naked out in the wilderness.
no!
Yeah!
Put leaves.
Look at you. Kylie, look at this little bitty guy right here, a little bitty swan or whatever he is. He's looking down there for
I
some
don't
water.
want to be naked.
You want me to give you a little bit of a branch? You want me to give you a little? You know what? I might make a little bit of a mixture between here, a little bit of red and yellow.
Your water looks like a photograph.
Oh, who said that?
Me?
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. Does anybody agree? I think it looks like a photograph.
Kai said she didn't want to be completely naked, so I'll put a little bit of, I'll put a little underwear on her here, and we'll cover up her top. Just a little bit of buds on here. You're a small little tree, Kylie, so you only got little buds here. Right here, look at that. See, you got little buds of stuff here coming off there. This is a cute little tree right here, Kylie. Thank you for asking for this. This looks pretty cool. Look at that. Nice.
Doesn't look like a pretty cool tree.
Oh, it doesn't?
Naked.
Yeah, not naked. Now it's not naked. Now you got little buds on it.
Sort of hard to- Maybe we made up this kind of flower.
Yeah.
Here.
You look for Joyce. That's your homework for tonight. Look for it and you get back to me.
Yeah. Look what? Give it back to me.
You're nuts.
Or
All
you
right.
can just make something up and tell us that's what it is, and then we'll call it that.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and sign this painting. Oh, Anybody see? Let's do this. Anybody see any small little additions that they think I might be able to put in here? We'll do that for about a minute here. If you guys come up with something cool.
Get cool. Go, go. Come on, don't know.
I'm still gonna sign it though. I can add that after I sign it. This is a big painting. I'm gonna do a big signature.
Holy moly.
Oh, that got away on me. That was gonna put my D on there. Hey, I do better with the bigger ones like that.
See?
Anybody else? Let's see. All right.
Looks like an actual
Oh,
picture of water.
all right. We're gonna post pictures of this thing and details of it.
Already
We got
did.
on Facebook. I got the YouTube video going
Oh.
up there too.
Oh, sorry guys.
And we're taking pictures for the Facebook stuff over here, so you guys can follow me on Facebook at LJD Paints as well. Those of you who check in, and like I said, I don't do short videos of my paintings. I don't do edited versions. I try to keep them under a couple hours. You know, you can fast forward and see me in here. We kind of talk and have fun and laugh and talk about painting, and a lot of the times I have people who view my paintings. They tell me some things they'd like to see in it, and I try to put it in if I can.
Kelly said you'd never add to an artist's creation. That's wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think there's not too much I don't like about this. Sometimes I don't like a tree I make, so I don't like that one as much as I would in my head. I saw it, but it still looks all right. But hopefully you guys like it. And then you're gonna hold up here. I'm gonna tell everybody we got the paintings all up at the Puerto Vallarta restaurant down the south side in Greenwood, and they're all on display right now. So anytime you're going, you're like, I want some Mexican food, or heck, if you can't decide what kind of food you want, go down there and eat some of their food. Check out my paintings. And then where I'm going to be doing an actual sit-down live, live painting there at some point. And I'm going to post those details whenever me and the family of the owner or whatever work that stuff out.
You
And I'll
guys see his shirt?
Oh yeah, debuting the new Bob Ross
Don't run into
shirt.
your painting.
So this is I got 3 of them going now, so I got to get the whole collection. I think there's about 400 of them out there, so I just got 397 more to go.
And Joy, are you suggesting a name for it, Joy?
Oh, suggesting a name? Yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
She said, I think she did. She said Mountain Dusk.
Mountain Dusk.
Is that what?
It's
is that
dusk.
what you're-
Yeah, dusk is at night. I haven't used that one. That sounds good. Mountain Dusk. That sounds good. I like this right here. I got that little trees that showed up. Some of the trees that showed up in the background that I covered up a lot of them. That was really cool. All right, you guys just leave your comments and whatever you feel about this painting, and then I'll try to get back to you guys whenever I get all this stuff cleaned up. I got a big mess to clean up. And I thank you guys all for joining me again, and you guys have a good night. Kylie, you like this painting?
This one?
Yeah.